it's Claire with You Matter Chico State, and I'm here today to talk about some myths and facts about counseling that I've encountered a lot of times over my life with mental illness. The first misconception I hear all the time is that if somebody is seeing a counselor, then they automatically have a mental illness. This isn't necessarily true. Counseling is amazing for all types of people, whether you have a mental illness or not, just like you would go to see a doctor even if you're not sick. It's great to head off issues before they become diagnosable illnesses. And even if you don't have a mental illness, you can still go through periods where you have the symptoms. A great example is grief. If someone close to you passes away or you have a loss of any kind in your life, it's very common to go through a period of extended depression where counseling may be helpful. The second myth is that counseling is trying to change an individual. In a certain way, this can be true, but it's not necessarily true. Basically, what I've experienced is that the world and our society has set these parameters. Whether they're correct or not, whether they're good or bad, there is a set of parameters that we need to try to live in. And counseling has really just helped me kind of mold myself to be able to function properly within these parameters. If anything, I feel like I'm more me than ever before. Now, my thought patterns and the way I perceive things do modify from time to time, of course. But the core of my personality, who I am, has not and I hope never will change. Is that all counselors are the same. And this is something that I've really heard a lot. There are so many different types of counselors out there, and they're all human. They've all been to different schools, had different experiences with patients, had different experiences in their personal life, and that all shapes them to be who they are today. Now, yes, of course, they all get trained in the same basic principles. What I tell people is just because somebody works for me doesn't necessarily mean that they're great for everyone. And then vice versa. Just because I'll come across a therapist that isn't perfect for me doesn't mean that therapy is not for me. It just means that I'm not the greatest match for this individual counselor. The fourth myth about counseling I hear a lot is that once someone starts it, they're never going to be able to stop. This isn't necessarily true. Depending on the issue at hand, it could take longer or shorter to figure it out. Sometimes I've had times where I go in once a week for 6 months straight. Other times I maybe see a counselor once every other month just to talk. It totally fluctuates throughout your life and depending on what you're trying to solve. Just like a physical illness where you might only need to go in once to get checked for some antibiotics and get sent home. Other times the illness might be more serious and extended treatment may be required. The final myth I've heard a lot about counseling is that it's going to make someone feel worse. And the reason behind this is that you do sometimes talk about issues that are troubling and very personal. However, I have never, ever, ever left a counseling appointment feeling worse than I did when I arrived. Like I said in myth number 4, sometimes issues take multiple sessions to work through. So there's not always going to be a quick fix. That being said, every counselor I've ever had does a really good job at managing the time. That way they know how far that we can get in one session and they take the opportunity to pause, wrap up, and send me off feeling good with something to work on and keep hopeful with until our next meeting. So thank you for listening to my top 5 myths about counseling that I've faced over my years. Of course, there are many, many more, and we have resources on our Facebook and our Pinterest account. And if you are a Chico State student, remember that the Counseling Center is free to you. It's 100% confidential. You can give them a call at 530-898-6345 or visit SSC 430 Monday through Friday from 9 to 5. And they have crisis walk-in appointments, or you can make an appointment for further out. I will post their website and contact information below, as well as You Matter's website and social media, where you could check out many more resources on mental illness and wellness. Thank you so much for taking the time to take care of yourself today, and we hope you have an excellent semester, Wildcats.